Lincoln Riley has a 2020 quarterback issue, and I'm going to talk about it after the bumper. What's up, kidfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today I want to talk about Lincoln Riley's 2020 quarterback issue. But first, I also want to point out that 2 days ago, the Toronto Raptors beat the only dynastic team in the NBA since 1998, running a box and one, a triangle and two, and a single lottery pick. I don't care who you are, that's impressive. That's what makes the NBA fun, and that's why I like to talk about it on my show, The RJ Young Show, on the Sports Animal, KYAL, here locally. There's a streaming link below, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I'll also talk about stuff like this, which is that with Chandler Morris announcing his commitment to Arkansas on Friday, when he's going to go play for his dad, Chad Morris, every quarterback Lincoln Riley has offered in the 2020 quarterback class has committed. Now, you're out there going, RJ, why are you still worried about the 2020 quarterback class? Because you take a quarterback in every single class. That's why. All right? That's why. And I get that you're going, you got Spencer Rattler on campus. That dude is enrolled. He's there. And you also got this kid, Brock Vandagriff, on the line who looks every bit like it's a match made in heaven for 2021. You get the gap year where you don't have to follow Spencer Rattler. You still need a 2020 quarterback. Now, I don't care who you necessarily get. I think that a Paul Thompson type of guy could work. Somebody that you know can do the job, but also can play another position if, they find out that the next guy needs to be the next guy. You got a Rhett Bomar issue, right? Because we've seen it go bad. Sam Bradford blew up his shoulder. You had to throw in another guy in there too early, right? You remember this? Remember when Sam Bradford wasn't that highly regarded coming out of high school either? All he did was turn out to win the Heisman Trophy. That's all I'm saying here, man, is that you want to have somebody here. Now, I get that some folks are going, go offer some walk-on that you like a Tanner Schaefer. Or, hey, go offer one of these 2020 quarterbacks that isn't necessarily the kind of dude that would end up at Oklahoma in the first place. Yeah, you could do those things. You could also look at Mikey Henderson if that's the way that you want to go, because he plays quarterback in high school and he's in the class as an H-back. So it ain't like you're not going to have a dude out there that actually knows how to run the play from under center or from behind center or whatever it is you want to say these days. Run it out of Lincoln Riley's shotgun. Point that I'm making here is you don't want Mikey Henderson taking snaps. Not at Oklahoma. That ain't what you want. You want somebody that's in the same line of a Mason Fine. Okay? If you get Mason Fine as a backup quarterback, you take that every single time. What I find that's interesting about Chandler Morris is that he kind of fit that bill. He knows how to win coming out of Highland Park in Dallas, where they were awesome and remain awesome. And he is the child of a head coach. And not just any head coach. It's Chad Morris, who changed the way Clemson offensive football is viewed, for those of you that don't remember. Now, he's got his own quarterback issues, and I think they got like 6 on campus right now. That's TCU. They got more quarterbacks on campus they know what to do with, because Chad Morris doesn't know who his quarterback is going to be. So it could be a thing that Chandler Morris ends up being the guy. Now, that didn't work out for Dan Hawkins at Colorado, and I hope it goes differently for Chad Morris and Chandler Morris, because I think they're actually pretty cool, and I think it would be cool to see Chandler Morris help his dad turn around Arkansas football, because Arkansas football is next door, and it wouldn't be nice to see the Arkansas, be what it was before Bobby Petrino had his motorcycle incident. But I also thought it was interesting that Chandler Morris went out of his way to say that Oklahoma finished number 2. Yeah, no stuff, they finished number 2, okay? It's the best quarterback university in America today. Yeah, they finished number 2 to your dad. But what made Chandler Morris a dude was getting the offer from Lincoln Riley, which again, I find funny because Chad Morris got the national title. Chad Morris changed how Clemson football is viewed. Chad Morris coached dudes like Deshaun Watson. Okay, I think that's fascinating. I think that's funny. Kelly Bryant, also a dude that he coached. But Lincoln Riley still made his son's reputation as a quarterback simply by extending the offer at quarterback. Now, that also rolls into what I just said earlier, which is that every quarterback Lincoln Riley is offering in the 2020 class has committed. Now, you could also say maybe Lincoln Riley is putting all of his eggs into the Bryce Young bucket still. Now, my man Brandon Drum has thought about that and said, you could probably still wait on Bryce Young to do the right thing, as they might say. In December, I think the right thing for that dude is actually to stick with USC. And all the stuff that's been going on with USC, Chris Steele, Brew McCoy, dudes committing, dudes decommitting, dudes coming back home. I think you would see a similar thing happen with Bryce Young when things don't go well. But let's assume you do get Bryce Young. So that would mean your 2019 quarterback be Spencer Rattler, your 2020 quarterback would be Bryce Young, and your 2021 quarterback, let's say for the sake of argument, is Brock Vandagriff. That means you would have 3 5-star quarterbacks on campus at the same time. You ain't going to keep them all. Yeah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Don't nobody love your team like that, period. Just ain't going to happen. Every one of those dudes deserves to play, needs to play, is elite, and I want to see them play. I want to see them play more than I want to see them all play at Oklahoma, and I want to see them all have opportunities to succeed and have opportunities to get into the NFL. Now, the way that this actually worked was at Georgia. So maybe Lincoln Riley can take a page out of Kirby Smart's book when we're talking about recruiting quarterbacks for once. He had Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm, and Justin Fields on campus at the same time. How did that work out? Well, worked out with Jake Fromm running off Jacob Eason to Washington, running off Justin Fields to Ohio State. And you could have made an argument, and I would have believed you, that Jake Fromm was the least talented of the 3, but he's the dude that earned the job and kept the job over 2 what we might think are more talented quarterbacks. Who's to say the same thing would not happen at Oklahoma? As much as I love Spencer Rattler, and I do love Spencer Rattler, I don't think that they didn't love him at Georgia or didn't love Justin Fields at Georgia. They love him quite a bit at Ohio State. Jacob Eason, I think, is going to be the best quarterback in the Pac-12 next year because he's that good. And I think when you look at Oklahoma and you're Lincoln Riley, you're going, well, yeah, the best way to ensure that I have a signal caller that I like for 2-3 years is by getting all 3 of those dudes on campus. So maybe you want to leave that slot open in case Bryce Young actually wants to take it. Either way, extend another offer to somebody else like Haynes, King, and Longview. This dude is on the verge of, it looks like Tennessee or Texas A&M, and I don't blame him, especially since he can't get the offer from Oklahoma, and I'm trying to figure out why. You got a 4.5 40, you can throw a football about 50 yards on a dime, you have a winning pedigree, and you are living literally within what we would call home base for Oklahoma in recruiting. And you're not going to offer the dude because you offered the dude out of Modern Day in LA. But you offer the dude Chandler Morris out of Dallas. And we can keep going on and on about this. But I do believe, one, you have to take a quarterback every single year. You don't get to not take a quarterback because the one time you forget that every play, 60 plays a game, there are 11 badasses on the other side of the ball who are trying to split your quarterback from spleen to sphincter every single play. All it takes is one time for one of those badasses to come and destroy your mans. And when they destroy your mans, you better have another dude to come up and be able to take over for your mans. All right? You better have somebody. You might not have the caliber of quarterback that you want, but there's a big difference between going able to throw Landry Jones at people and having to throw Joey Hazel at people. Okay? That's just what it is. You don't want to be the latter. You want to be the former, which is why you take the quarterback every single year. And y'all will be like, oh, hey, RJ, there's this thing called the transfer portal where you can literally go get dudes like you might have been able to get them in the same class. No, you can't. Because not everybody's going to get that immediate eligibility waiver. And even if they could, is that the kind of guy you want to run out there? Because as much as y'all want to tell me about how much you don't like transfer portal and how you want to see kids stick to their commitments and you don't want to see kids going in and out of it, you sure are the first person to talk about going to get a quarterback out of the transfer portal from another dude, from another program where he didn't feel like he was fitting in. Look, I'm getting upset about this because you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth and I don't like it, okay? Can't have it both ways. You either are for children being able to go into the transfer portal and go find a better situation or you're not. Either way, you cannot use the transfer portal to fit your argument. Not with me. I'm not going to let you. I'm going to pull your card every single time. So if you're in the comments, You're on Twitter, you're hitting me up talking about, hey, we can go get a quarterback out of the transfer portal because that's just what it is. You are not the same person who gets to go and ding a dude like Derek Green who got out for whatever reasons he decided to get out. Okay? You cannot go yelling about where the defensive tackles are when you saw a defensive tackle get signed and then leave of his own accord and then you want to shade him? Nah. When we talk about your quarterbacks, though, then we're doing something different. No, you can't have it both ways. Either you want a 2020 quarterback to sign or you don't want to go get one out of the transfer portal. You can't have it both ways. All right? So keep the transfer portal stuff to a low hum, like the gain on this video. Otherwise, I'm going to be out here pulling your card, and I'm not going to let you forget it. All right, that is it for me. Deuces.